In a gaming landscape overshadowed by the Sims franchise dominating the simulation genre specifically, the allure of Life by You beckons, promising a resurgence of cherished features from The Sims 3. It's no secret that EAxis has grown way too comfortable and complacent in the absence of competition. Therefore, the prospect of new contenders entering the market soon is undeniably thrilling. Amidst titles like Paralives and Inzoi, Life by You captivates me the most due to its homage to The Sims 3, reintroducing beloved elements like an open world and full player autonomy. Furthermore, Life by You stands out as the only game openly tailored for a more mature audience. As a 30-year-old gay man, I find this aspect particularly intriguing and exciting. Personally, I've grown wary of the simplified and diluted gameplay experience offered by The Sims 4. For someone seeking a more mature gaming journey, the prospect of Life by You is undeniably enticing. Yet, before we immerse ourselves in this virtual world, certain facets demand our meticulous attention. Life by You grapples with an identity crisis, lacking the cohesive visual resonance characteristic of successful gaming titles. The absence of a unified aesthetic raises questions about collaboration within the art team. While the overall appearance is contemporary and modern, it suffers from inconsistency. For example, minimalism, a significant influence on contemporary art, emphasizing simplicity and empty space, is not fully harnessed in LBY. Pastel colors and desaturated surroundings, hallmarks of minimalism, could be incorporated to allow atmospheric effects to create a more cohesive and immersive gaming experience. In contrast, the current art style falls short in seamlessly integrating personalized characters and houses despite their eclectic styles. This gives me the impression that the art team operates in an individualistic manner, lacking coordination in assembling assets cohesively, resulting in a somewhat disjointed appearance of stock assets. To address this, adopting a more structured approach, starting with a mood board and adhering to concept art could be beneficial. By creating and delivering visually striking concepts first, the team can then introduce more variety, extending this principle to furniture, fashion, architecture, and all other aspects of the game. For comparison, The Sims 4 employs a very cartoony style for characters, akin to Disney but slightly more mature. The overall architecture and furniture maintains a consistent mid-century style mixed with more modern, even futuristic elements. While some players may complain, these intentional style decisions establish a distinct and cohesive aesthetic throughout the game, maintaining visual integrity. Similarly, Life by You needs to find its niche and build an identity around it, applying a consistent design language to all visual elements from 3D assets to typography and user interface. From what we've seen so far, Life by You does not possess that unique identity. Let's mention some UI design flaws I detected so far. Colors. The color selection appears arbitrary, lacking a clear purpose. It's essential that the chosen colors for both the UI and the overall color filters tone of the game align with the game's branding and identity. A recent example for this may be Hogwarts Legacy and Baldur's Gate 3. Those games have a certain color palette that you can easily detect and differentiate from other titles. It's distinct and it tells you outright that the screenshot or the interface belongs to a certain title. Visual cues. The UI suffers from an imbalance between text and graphics, posing a significant issue, especially for newcomers to this type of game. The Human Maker UI, what a name, comes across as intimidating, resembling more of a modding tool than an official game interface. While some might perceive my upcoming suggestion as potentially adding complexity, I firmly believe that menus and sections should be concealed behind graphic elements representing specific categories. For instance, a brain icon could open menus for customizing personality traits and background of a character, while a DNA helix icon could lead to menus for customizing the character's body and appearance. This approach would enhance user experience and alleviate the overwhelming presence of text on the screen. Furthermore, a substantial design flaw involves insufficient contrast on the screen and a problematic use of blank space. The characters have a large empty background while text and boxes are tightly packed, creating a suffocating effect. Implementing the proposed solution of icons concealing the menus and text could address this issue and enhance the overall visual appeal and user experience. Considering the Sims franchise's patent on the grab and drag functionality for body parts, I understand that sliders cannot replicate this, necessitating their separation as UI elements. However, the current design lacks visual appeal and requires a distinct visual language with unique iconography that resonates with the target audience. I'm curious about whether they are conducting user tests for the UI. Typically, designers create various personas and design scenarios, generate alternatives for their designs, and test them with individuals matching their personas to ensure that the designs effectively support various scenarios. Following these tests, the best alternatives are selected and refined until the final product approaches perfection. If they are not conducting such tests, it's no wonder the current UI falls short. The proliferation of drop-down menus throughout the UI is overwhelming, lacking the visual cues needed for an instinctive navigation experience. The remedy lies in the infusion of unique iconography, ensuring a user-friendly journey, especially for our discerning mature audience. Categorization also poses a significant challenge that is intricately linked to the overall UI design. The previews of the build mode suggested a lack of clear categories for specific objects, and existing categories seems nonsensical to me. This issue extends to the human maker screen, where categories are depicted as drop-down menus without accompanying visual elements. While I'm not advocating for a direct imitation of The Sims, it's worth noting that The Sims' approach to categorization and the presentation of those categories is markedly superior and more intuitive than that of LBY's. In light of these challenges, I recommend that the UI in each mode of the game, let it be live gameplay, or human maker, or build mode, should incorporate clearer categories indicated by visual cues like distinct icons. This approach would enhance user navigation and reduce reliance on manual searches or text-heavy interfaces, contributing to a more intuitive and user-friendly experience. I firmly believe that implementing these improvements can elevate the overall usability of the game. Typography is another significant concern that warrants attention. In a game with an abundance of menus and text, achieving impeccable typography is simply crucial. While the current font is readable, the alignment and placement of text appear disorganized. To enhance player navigation, the text in the UI should be refined for a more polished presentation. Many games typically avoid employing bold or italic text extensively in their UI, reserving such styles for dialog boxes or in-game reading materials. However, I would like to propose, in my humble opinion, that the incorporation of various typography styles could potentially improve readability and distinguish different menus from one another. This subtle adjustment may contribute to a more visually cohesive and user-friendly interface. To cater to the diverse gaming community, a consideration for accessibility options is indispensable. I strongly believe that the game should prioritize accessibility options, providing features such as a choice between light and dark modes, customizable fonts, and menu styles can significantly enhance the user experience. It's crucial not to rely solely on mouse movements. Incorporating keyboard shortcuts for actions in build mode, human maker, and live gameplay would be highly beneficial. For instance, if players can engage in activities like cleaning the house on behalf of their characters like in The Sims, introducing shortcuts for actions like washing the dishes or taking out the trash would be a fantastic addition. Moreover, I suggest implementing audio assistance such as a menu reader or distinctive sounds to indicate specific actions in the UI, drawing inspiration from the cash register sound in The Sims build mode, associating certain sounds with actions helps users comprehend their in-game activities better. This auditory feedback could be extended to all UI interactions, providing users with a more immersive and informative experience. Of course, it's essential to offer players the option to opt out of these accessibility features based on their preferences. This comprehensive approach would make the game more inclusive and enjoyable for a broader audience, in my opinion.